My name's Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. We've been getting a lot of calls asking for our own version to explain Uniting for Ukraine and Parole for Venezuelans. These two programs are different because they're in response to different humanitarian crises in different parts of the world, and some of the requirements are slightly different for them. But overall, they are a very similar way of requesting. Basically, you're requesting parole for people outside the U.S. to enter the U.S. The parole is for 2 years. I'd say 95% of these processes are exactly the same. And it's interesting to see the government create this process. It makes me wonder if they'll use it for and during similar humanitarian crises in the future, as a way to prevent people from coming unlawfully, and presenting themselves without documents to the U.S.-Mexico border or to the U.S.-Canada border. We've been doing our firm's first cases of these, and so we're figuring out this process also. It's a brand new government process, and so I just wanted to share with you how I view these processes and what it's all about. USCIS, in conjunction with Customs and Border Patrol, have created a new process. All right, USCIS does the parole request with the affidavit of support I-134. CBP is at the border, and they will actually be in charge of paroling a person in if their documents were in order with USCIS. Okay. So it allows U.S. supporters, which is a new term under immigration law, at least to my knowledge. I've never seen this term before. So it allows U.S. quote-unquote supporters, we're going to talk about that, to sponsor a parole request for nationals of Ukraine and now also for Venezuela to enter the United States on parole. All right. So what is this term, this U.S. supporter? Well, let's look at that. All right. It's not limited to U.S. citizens. It's not limited to U.S. green card holders. It's anyone with lawful status in the United States. U.S. citizens, green card holders, which is LPRs, lawful permanent residents, asylees, TPS holders, DACA holders, even if you have withholding of removal status, right? Or if you are a parolee yourself, any of these things can... You're here lawfully in the United States, you can be a supporter for other immigrants to enter the U.S. with parole. Pretty cool, pretty broad, right? And so, okay. So what can supporters do, all right? And how about beneficiaries? Supporters can file the I-134, the affidavit of support, for any beneficiary who is either in Venezuela or in Ukraine, or is a citizen of Venezuela, citizen of Ukraine, okay? And so I put a note here, the government will only accept 100,000 of these parolees from the Ukraine and 24,000 from Venezuela, all right? And so we want to pay attention, and there is some benefit with getting your application in as quickly as you can, because the numbers will either go away or they'll have to expand them. Okay? The beneficiary, who is the foreign national in Ukraine or in Venezuela, they have to have a valid, unexpired passport from that country. The term unexpired is different for Venezuela. All right? Many Venezuelans have not been able to renew passports since, I think, 2019. And the regulations are there that recognize that, all right? And many, if you have a passport from Venezuela, then it's automatically extended, okay? And with some nuances there, and I can show you where it is on USCIS's website that describes that, and our firm can walk you through that if you have questions about it. The beneficiary must have vaccines for measles, polio, and at least one shot of the COVID-19 vaccine. All right, the beneficiary must have been physically present in the Ukraine if you're from Ukraine, on February 11th of 2022. All right, when the war broke off and when this announcement happened, there are different requirements for Venezuela. I can show you. I'll show you in a moment where it is on USCIS's website. And the beneficiary can include their spouses and children under 21 as a travel group, even if the spouses and children are not citizens of Ukraine or Venezuela. All right. Like imagine someone from Venezuela had a spouse from Argentina. I'm just making it up. And then, if that were the case, both could qualify for parole. So what's the process? One is we file the I-134 for all relatives, and we create a USCIS online account for the supporter, who's the U.S.-based person, to file the I-134 for as many people as they want to. Okay, there is no limit. Okay, well, the limit is your own financial well-being, because you'll have to send an affidavit of support with your taxes and with proof of income in each case, right? With the ability, showing the ability to support a person for 2 years of parole with your finances. And so you must file a separate I-134 for each beneficiary. Step 2 is you'll receive a confirmation notice. So after you do that form and the evidence of your finances, you'll receive a confirmation notice from the government, from USCIS, to your account, or you'll receive a non-confirmation notice, which basically says, hey, there was some problem with your form and they need additional information or some problem with the documents. Okay? So that's step 2. Step 3 is once it's confirmed, the beneficiary who's in Venezuela or in Ukraine, or who's in some situations in some other country of the world if they've fled, once it's confirmed, the beneficiary will receive a notice. And so you'll want to be in communication. You need to have a safe email account for the beneficiary. When they get that notice, you'll need to help them, and our office will help them to add a receipt number to their approved I-194. You got to go in and create their own account. Add the receipt number, complete and upload proof of their vaccine information, create the travel group, and then transfer the case online. They hit a button that says transfer to Customs and Border Patrol. Once that happens, they've confirmed that the information was accurate. They are showing that they're ready to travel to the United States. So then step 4 is Customs and Border Patrol issues to each beneficiary a travel authorization letter. After that happens, that letter is valid for 90 days, and they can present that letter at the border or at the port of entry at the airport to enter the United States. They present it to Border Patrol. Border Patrol still has the power and still will meet with, ask questions about, make sure at the port of entry that the person is who they say they are, that the person's eligible to be paroled in, and then we'll parole them in. The parole is valid for 2 years. After a person's in the U.S., they can talk about other options, asylum, a parole-based entry. If they married a U.S. citizen while they were here or something like that, they'd be eligible to stay longer. Theoretically, this parole could be renewed in the future, but that will depend on politics, among other things. And so that's the process. If you look up process for Venezuelans or Uniting for Ukraine, you go to uscis.gov, bold and big and right on top. You can check them out yourself and see and learn more. For Venezuela, here's all the other requirements. Anyway, check out uscis.gov for more information. Uniting for Ukraine, same thing. The United for Ukraine process has this nice video. I recommend everybody going through the process watch it. Anyway, I just wanted to introduce it for today. If you have a case, if you're wanting to do this, if you're wanting to be a supporter to bring in people from other parts of the world, from Venezuela or from Ukraine, we'd love to help you with it. And so if that's your situation, please feel free to give us a call. We'd love to do that. My name is Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.